Automation is powerful, but it's not magic. It won't fix a process that's unclear, inefficient, or misaligned with business goals. That's why before we automate anything in Roost, we start with a discipline called process engineering. Process engineering is how we take a step back and ask, what exactly are we automating and why? We look at the process itself and ask, what's actually happening at each step? Who owns what? What's the business goal behind it? Are we improving something that matters or just speeding up busy work? Without this step, we're building on shaky ground. It's like putting together IKEA furniture without reading the instructions. You might get something that looks okay at first, but over time it wobbles, it gaps, or worse, you have to take it apart and start over. So let's start from the ground up. Process engineering means analyzing, documenting, and improving a process before we automate it. It's not about making things faster just for the sake of speed. It's about making them better. A well-engineered process clearly defines each step, assigns ownership and responsibility, removes inefficiencies and duplication, plans for exceptions, and most importantly, aligns with business goals. That clarity should carry all the way through, from how we design automations to how we test and maintain them. Because if we skip this work, automation won't solve problems, it'll just move them around faster. Take something like service tickets or onboarding. If the process is already full of bottlenecks or unclear handoffs, automating it won't help. It just delivers frustration at scale. When we don't start with process engineering, we often fall into a few traps. We automate steps that don't need to exist. We skip over who's responsible for what. We create new blockers by missing key dependencies. And we spend time building automation that doesn't deliver real value. Process engineering keeps us focused on the why, not just the how. It helps us make sure the work we're automating is worth automating. Now, even if a process is working well manually, that doesn't always mean it's ready to be automated. This is where we shift into process re-engineering for automation. It means taking a process that works today and redesigning it to work better with automation. Why? Because automation doesn't work the same way people do. It's faster, yes, but it's also more rigid. That means decisions need to be rule-based and explicit, exception handling needs to be deliberate, and anything that depends on human judgment or informal handoffs may need to change. So even if a process is fine manually, we still need to ask, is this designed to work well with automation? Here's a simple framework to follow before you start building in Roost. First, identify the process. What are we automating and what's the business reason for it? Second, map the steps. Lay out each action, decision, and handoff. 3, spot inefficiencies. Where are the delays, the friction points, or workarounds? 4, define the inputs and outputs. What data is coming in? What's expected to come out? 5, plan for exceptions. What should happen when something goes off script? 6, test it manually. Run it by hand. Make sure it works before you automate it. Think of this as your checklist for setting up automation that doesn't just run, but runs well. Another tip, you don't want to do this alone. Process engineering is a team activity. You'll get the best outcomes when you bring in process owners, the people who live and breathe the work, subject matter experts, the ones who know the edge cases, automation specialists, the folks who will build it out, and stakeholders, those who define priorities and success. When we skip collaboration, we risk designing automation based on guesses instead of reality, and those guesses don't hold up for long. Automation should never be reactive. It should be intentional. Before you build anything, make sure you understand the process, refine it where needed, and align it to a real business goal. That's the value of process engineering, and when needed, re-engineering. It helps us avoid wasted effort, build smarter workflows, and create automation that scales with confidence. Up next, we'll look at how to identify the best opportunities for automation, because not every process is worth automating, and choosing the right place to start is half the battle.